Good night. It's the night of the 5th of September 2025, and although it wasn't very warm or sunny today, it was a little overcast, but there was some sun. It was an absolutely fabulous day for getting jobs done. I was away this morning early to my steel supplier and got a couple of girders on the trailer and brought them back here, and then I had to get them drilled and stuff and check out the cattle. They were all right, change them to other grass, and then we had another little bit of a civil engineering job to do with a few friends, and so got that done. But great bit of work. I'm just ready to roll in. I'm tired, but it's an unbelievably healthy form of tiredness. Also, when I go to check my cattle now, I generally walk. I get a stick and I walk fast to get the blood circulating. They say that's good for you, and I'm doing that a bit now. But I feel tired now. But I feel healthily tired. It's great. Like I'll sleep like a log now for a while. I don't know whether I snore or not. I don't think I do. Anyway, I want to deal with this matter here because I have trouble downloading videos. Good weather and making videos they don't go hand in hand. You know, they're a bit at opposites to each other. Anyway, understanding renewable electricity, and I'm going to try and keep this short. On the radio this morning on Shannonside Northern Sound and on a lot of Irish radio, there's always somebody on pushing renewable energy. They never relent, they never give up, they think it works. Now, there's a few wee things about it. There was a genius on this morning, some advisory crowd, and his idea was switch. If you have one electricity company and they're getting a bit expensive, check out someone else and get the best deal. Keep getting the best deal and get on to bonkers.ie and all of that. That is a load of utter nonsense. That is untrue. The fact of the matter is all of the electricity utilities, either voluntarily or by government directive, and exactly why they do it, I don't know, are supporting renewable energy, solar and wind energy, which doesn't work. And as a result, they have to jack up the bills. Now, I've explained this to you a lot, and I've went to a lot of trouble explaining to you. Not only do they have to pay them the highest fuel in the mix, that's the wind and the solar, but they have to pay them to turn off when there's too much wind. And they've managed to lie about the fact that you can't have 100% renewable energy. You can only have about 70% at best, and that's very risky. But 65% is a comfortable amount. You have to have a certain amount of spinning reserve from fossil fuel sources. That lie is still being pushed, and I'm trying to break it big time, but also it's proven by the fact that they have to pay them to turn off. If it wasn't true, they could take all the electricity that the wind energy produces. They never can take all the electricity when the wind is blowing hard. So you never can achieve any kind of total wind energy or total solar. Anyway, people either believe me or they don't. I don't care anymore whether they do or not. But the thing about changing companies is, if you change, you will get a temporary relief. Now, a very good example of that is a person I know who was with ESB Electric Ireland, and our bill was getting high, and mine is high. I won with ESB Electric Ireland and one with Bord Gáis. And Bord Gáis should be the cheapest because they have given up the wind thing a good while ago. They should be cheaper, but there must be some scheme where they have to share with the rest. But anyway, this lady was getting too expensive and she shopped around and she went to SSE. They're wind mad. If they could have 5,000 times more wind farms than they have, they would. But anyway, and solar, and they're always blowing about it. But the thing about it is, she went to SSE and they give her £150 welcome money or hello money or whatever. You understand? They give her 150 euros incentive. Now, when they give her the incentive, she switched over, and the first bill wasn't too bad. And after a few months, they were worse and more expensive than ESB Electric Ireland. So this advice they're given, switch around. Don't be bothered switching, because she realised she was conned, she was fooled, and she switched away to a different company. I think it was Electric Ireland again, I don't know. But when they did, you can't go to a new company until you clear your bill with the older company. And when she went to clear her bill with SSE, they took back the €150 they had given her. And that is now €300. At the moment, you get a €300 incentive to switch to SSE electricity from another company. But if you don't stay with them, they'll pull that back off you again. And they have it rigged that you can't leave them without paying. That's my understanding. I know a woman that actually happened to. She thought she lives alone, but she thought that she thought she was right. Oh, I'm doing well, and she told me I have a great deal now. The deal was that when she left back from SSE, they took back the money, and they seem to be able to do that somewhere. Have you that? So that's the thing about that. So just be wary if you'd want to do that. That's all right. Switch around. Read the fine print if you can, and most people can't. The fact of the matter is electricity is going to get dearer and dearer and dearer. And the more renewables they put into the system, the dearer it's going to get. Now, you see comments there on my videos. I was in a business. It'd be retailing hardware sort of stuff, and would be doing a certain amount of repair and making stuff and cutting timber and things like that. And there'd be quite a lot of machinery, and maybe planing, and sawing and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, their bill was 6,000 a month, electricity bill. 6,000. That'd be all three-phase industrial power. And they went mad with solar panels. They put solar panels all over the place, on the roofs and everything, and put them out on the fields and everything. And so it's not that big, but it's big enough. And so now their bill is only 4,000. They're saving €2,000 a month by putting up the solar panels. But the way they're doing that is they're feeding the surplus power back into the grid. It's not running any of their machinery. You can't run power, the three-phase equipment like planing machines, saws, band saws, big band saws. It won't run them. That has to be from the main supply or a generator. They don't have a generator. It's the main supply. But it's fed back into the grid, and they get a rebate for the money for the power they sell into the grid. Now, my contention is when you feed solar power into the grid, it's of no use on the grid. You can't turn off any fossil fuel power at all. You have to keep the main grid running the same as ever. But they allow you they pay you for it, essentially. And I'm not against solar on houses. If you want to have it for shaving, for washing, for anything else, but I never heard of a house in Ireland heated by solar. Never, ever. And I don't believe there's enough power in it to do that. There's only enough to warm the water and maybe help, maybe a shower. It's still all right. I'm not making too big an issue of it. I don't like them on roofs. I'd rather out in the field. You put them on a roof and you try to sell that house, or you ever want to fix the roof, it's a nightmare. It could cost you an awful lot of money if you get a leak or anything. I don't know how that will work. But anyway, they're all made in China. Of course, 90% of all solar energy is made in China equipment. So what I'm saying is the grid will pay for solar power, but the power is no good on the grid. It doesn't stop the grid having to use everything else. Coal, oil and gas, and if the wind is blowing, the wind will put in power into it while that's blowing. But the fact that there's solar going in means very, very little. If there's anything, you're talking about 1%. The result is that business that had normal bills of 6,000 a month now has bills of 4,000 a month. And that 2,000 is borne by the ordinary bill payer. So what effectively to do is to spread the total cost of their industry around. So by putting solar panels feeding back into the grid, now not ones just doing on your own house, they're all right, that's your own business. But putting them feeding back into the grid, you merely charge all your neighbours, old people, young people, and everything else. Because if that were otherwise, there would be less other generation needed. And so the bill payer would pay this company for their solar power, and that'd be it. But no, the bill payer has to pay for the solar power that the companies produce, whether it's a main solar farm, but this is an industry with solar panels, and a lot of farmers are doing it. And the more of that is fed into the grid, the higher the bills will go, because the utility company has to pay the farmer, it has to pay the industry, it has to pay the sawmill or whatever. Big money. And where is it going to get it? It doesn't get it from saving coal, oil or gas in the least. If it did, we wouldn't be crying because Russia cut off the gas and importing fuel from America at 4 times the price of Russian fuel. All you're doing is just socialising it by a trick, a conjurer's trick. That's the reality. And if you don't believe me, that's okay. No one ever tested it. No one ever put it through any analysis or anything else. Now, I heard, I didn't get seeing this myself. I heard that President Trump, he's going to have the G7 meeting. The G7 used to be G8, but they put Russia out in America. It's going to be in Florida next year. And he's also saying that a lot of American businesses are now generating their own. And this is exactly as I predicted. The generators are being sold good time. If you're going into any of the big farm centres, mightn't be the hardware shops, but that do equipment, just ask the staff. You'll see the generators on the floor. Big ones, small ones and everything else. Diesel generators. They're made in China, but they could be all right. But anyway, that's a separate thing. But you'll see them there. Why is that happening? Because people are losing confidence in the state and the ESB to generate power. And in actual fact, the government is recommending people have your own supply. So that means that I was right. If the wind and the solar energy worked, it would now be running the show. We wouldn't be worried about our own power. We wouldn't be worried about high prices. The whole thing was one massive swindle, one massive pyramid selling scheme, and one that puts the ordinary working class person last. It gives a wee way out for their business that has fairly big resources to put these solar panels on and charge their neighbours for their industrial power. But the ordinary Joe Soap, the ordinary person in the council house or the ordinary old person, they can't do that. And if they did, they'd only be joining another pyramid selling scheme. They can't do it, and they have to pay for the coal, oil and gas power. They have to pay for all the wind power. They have to pay for all the solar farms. And now they have to pay businesses and anybody that can afford a lot of solar panels on the house. Now, I was told yesterday that a person met me and corrected me, that they read it, that the Irish government is now refusing to take on any more solar. Now that is one to watch. I'm saying I only got it from another person, but I believe this was said on the radio, that there's no more solar power being accepted back into the grid. That's from about maybe 2 months ago, summer 2025. Now, if that's the case, why is that? Why is the utility, why is the air grid and these not taking this power? Why are they stopping it? You can't supply it anymore, according to what I hear. Well, I think the reason is they realised the whole thing was one scam. One massive scam. And all of the renewable energy is a scam. People don't believe it. Oh, sure, I'm getting money now off the grid. Of course they are. At the expense of 400,000 people can't pay the bill because they have to pay 3 times what they should be paying. They have to pay three times the operations they have to pay. That's 14 minutes. That's my contention. Nobody has ever taken me up on it. When you think to say, oh, you're wrong there. They don't do it. They don't do it. It could easily test this whole thing. The whole solar, the whole wind is only a decoration on a fossil fuel grid, and we'll never shake off fossil fuel, never. And the British government under Keir Starmer, the Labour government, it's renewables mad. It's on the way out. And both the Tories and Reform UK are promising to go back to coal, oil and gas. Trump has gone back to coal, oil and gas. Germany's industry's gone. British industry's almost gone. BASF, the big chemical factory in Germany, almost gone. Can't even make chemicals. All because of this energy madness and the delusion that you can power your economy with electricity generated from the weather. That is an ignoramus, stupid thing. And I'm being proven right all the time. I'm preaching this for 15 years and I'm being proven right all the time. The question is, if there's 400,000 people unable to pay their bills, and there's, I think it's 2.2 million bill payers, you can see that that's quite a figure. 400,000 out of a million is 40%. So out of 2 million, it's 20%. So it looks to me that about 18% of people can't pay their bills. And that's what I predicted. So where's all the happy talk from Eamon Ryan, Minister, and all these happy talks, and Pat Rabbit, and all the Greens? Where is all this happy talk? Where has it brought us? The whole lot will have to be abandoned, because what's happening is now there has been another big successful meeting of the BRICS alternative to the dollar, and the east of the world, the global south as to call it, is now powering ahead with coal, oil and gas, while Europe is left out and nobody gives a hoot about them. And we are facing a very cold winter, and I don't know how we'll get through it with electricity. Hopefully the flow of oil will not be interrupted. If that's the case, we'll not die with the cold, but some people might. So there you are. That's the story. Another big scam. I was right. It's a complete and utter scam. We'll see you back soon. Comment underneath. Bye-bye.